Order the latest blockbuster from Brent Bozell and Tim Graham, Collusion, How the Media Stole the 2012 Election and How to Stop Them from Doing It in 2016. Available in hardcover. A must-read for every true conservative. Order your copy now at MediaCollusion.com.
Hey everybody, I'm Tim Johnston and this is MRC-TV. So zero-tolerance policies on guns have been around for a long time now. They're practically a household name. And a couple times a year, it seems like we get a case where schools push these a little bit beyond the bounds of reason. 2013, though, has been different. We've had a slew of cases where schools have overstepped and overreacted on zero-tolerance policies and basically punished students for innocent actions regarding toy guns or anything related to guns. With me today is Alexa Fritts, a spokeswoman for the NRA, who's going to talk about why this is and what we can expect for the future in this issue. Alexa, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Tim.
This year we've seen a whole rash of incidents where kids have, brought little Lego-sized guns or, seemingly innocent things into school, and they've been suspended for them, even. Why has there been such a rash of them this year as compared to other years? Is it kind of a result of the Sandy Hook shootings, or is that just another thing in the road?
Well, honestly, you'd have to ask some of the school administrators that, because none of this makes sense to me. This zero tolerance stuff when it comes to children, and some of them we're talking, first graders being suspended, or sometimes you hear stories about them being interrogated by school officials or even police for things like making their hand into a gun or having a Lego gun on the school bus. These things are absurd, and I just don't think there's any explaining them. We've seen this kind of thing in years past as well. It does seem like lately they've gotten perhaps more attention, or maybe there has been a higher frequency of them, but I can't explain them because they're frankly completely ridiculous to me.
And then why is it that we see schools being so sensitive to guns, but yet we don't see teachers lined up around the corner protesting, tighter control on violent video games and violent movies? Those seem like more, direct suspects.
Yeah, I would think so too. I'm not sure. Again, I guess you'd have to ask the teachers or school faculty about that. I think in part it's kind of trendy to be anti-gun, or gun control is a big buzzword. It's kind of a hot topic right now. So I think that's perhaps why it's on the minds of school administrators more than in the past, or possibly more than other issues. But I think they should focus on other issues. There are perhaps things going on in their schools that could be real threats, and definitely these children who have a curiosity in toy guns or playing around as girls and boys do, pretending, they have guns. Those kids aren't the real threats.
What are some of the other things you think schools should be focusing on instead?
Well, for one, get back to common sense. I mean, let's use our brains, let's use our minds, and think about the fact that, threatening incarceration for a 14-year-old honor student wearing a T-shirt with a picture of a gun on it, which was not even against school policy, and threatening to lock him up for a year in jail, it just doesn't make any sense. So I think we need to get back to common sense, and I think zero tolerance is really not the answer. I think some of these things should be taken more on a case-by-case basis, because oftentimes the kids that are being kind of persecuted in these situations are really good kids that had no bad intentions, and for some reason that's not taken into account.
Well, it seems like some schools are actually starting to rethink their zero-tolerance policies and put in place ones that are more lenient. Do you think all these events have actually caused people to wake up to that a little bit, or is this just something that's coming about through the years? That's a good question. I certainly hope so. I hope that the backlash that they've received, which they have, when they go after kids for such innocent things as, bringing a Lego gun to school, or chewing their pop-tart into the shape of a gun. I think they're getting a backlash and realizing, hey, we kind of sound like idiots. And frankly, they do. So I think they're starting to realize
maybe we should go a different direction with this. And I hope that what they would do is, again, look at the kids or the situations in their schools that could be an actual threat to kids' safety. The National Rifle Association cares so much about keeping our kids safe in schools that we've actually even helped to develop a school shield program that would help ensure student safety. And I think that would be one measure to look at to actually protect kids in schools rather than suspending children for playing around with fake guns.
What exactly would the shield safety system do?
It's called the School Shield Program, and part of the program would be to have some member of the faculty armed so that if there were a school shooting or some type of threat to the school, there would be somebody there to respond immediately. Instead, our schools are gun-free zones, which really only says to criminals, hey, go do whatever you want there. There's not going to be anybody there to protect themselves or these children and to stop you until the police can arrive. And that's sad and that's scary. I mean, we protect our celebrities, we protect our politicians, we protect our airports, we protect our banks. Why wouldn't we protect our kids in our schools with armed guards as well if we can? And the program actually also involves even talking to schools about perhaps better designs that would keep something like this from happening or allow people to escape during a shooting scenario more easily. So there are a lot of different aspects to it.
Nice. So if more people started getting rid of these zero tolerance policies, unfortunately, it seems in this issue like we take one step forward and we take two steps back. Do you think it would continue, or is this just kind of a current trend that's going on, spurred by recent events?
It's hard to say. I'm hopeful that it would be something that's on the decline. But unfortunately, there are a lot of folks out there, school administrators and faculty members included, who are very anti-gun. And that's where I feel like a lot of this comes from. There was one school, for example, that had a toy gun trade-in kind of thing. In fact, I've heard of a few schools doing this type of thing where they encourage these kids to come trade in their toy guns and instead receive a book or a puzzle or something like that. And, while I guess I can understand what they're trying for, it really doesn't make any sense. Toy guns don't cause violence, just like toy kitchens don't cause obesity. I mean, it just really doesn't make sense. Toy guns have been a part of American culture since the 1850s, and they were one of the top, most popular toys for more than 100 years in the United States, and they're still very popular. And hey, they're fun. I mean, I have some of my best memories from summers running around shooting my brothers and sister with water guns. I mean, that's what kids do, and it can definitely be innocent fun, and it's something that teachers need to keep in mind. Kids have an interest in it, and to just blatantly say that all guns are bad and toy guns are bad is actually not true. It's can be a very fun part of play as long as the kids understand what's real and what's not, and that they know what they're doing with those toys.
What has the media been like regarding these instances? Have they been fairly sympathetic? Have they misconstrued it at all?
No, I would not say they've been sympathetic for the most part. I can tell you that I saw there was one incident, I think it was maybe the child that I believe was a first grader that brought a toy Lego gun onto a school bus. I remember the reporter, when he was reporting on the story, at the end said that the little boy, something to the effect of the little boy now realizes that guns are bad. And again, I just thought to myself, is that really the message? Is that what he was supposed to take away from that? Is that what the teachers and the faculty and maybe even now his parents want him to think? I hope not, because that's not true. Guns aren't bad. There are bad people that have guns, but there are a lot of good people that have guns. Police officers have guns and use them to protect us. Security guards have guns and use them to protect us. So is that little boy going to now think that police officers are bad other people, other law-abiding gun owners are bad. I think that was really in poor taste and a bad message. And that water gun story that I mentioned earlier too, I remember hearing that one, and the spin that was kind of put on it to me seemed very biased. It seemed like, oh, isn't this a wonderful thing? Kids are training in their water guns and, getting those water guns off the streets. I mean, it just was really silly to me, and I didn't understand why it was reported as though it was such a amazing idea and a positive move in the right direction. But that is how it was reported, in my opinion, with a lot of bias, that this toy gun exchange was a huge positive for the community. I don't get that.
So on the other hand, how has the NRA responded to these? Have you reached out at all, or? On occasion there is an incident like some of these that we've discussed, that we've taken part in, or that we've reached out to the families. For example, the case of the honor student Jared Markham in West Virginia, who had gone to school with a t-shirt that had a picture of a rifle on it, and I believe it said something about, defending your Second Amendment rights. And he was asked to remove the shirt. He didn't remove the shirt because he knew that it was not against his school policy, and he felt like he had the right to wear it. And who was then arrested and faced charges that could have put him in jail for a year. We did reach out to his family and his lawyer and offer some assistance in that case, and thankfully it has been resolved. All the parties have decided that there would be no further legal action, which was the right decision. Well, this has been really informative. Alexa Fritts, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks again for having me.
Oh, you're welcome.